Hey guys, welcome to another Stardew Valley tutorial. If you want to know the best recipes to make that will give you the best skill buffs, then stick around because you're on your way to becoming Pelican Town's top chef. Okay, so first off, we've got Farmer's Lunch here, which is really great. It's super cheap, so you can make it early on. All it takes is an omelet and a parsnip, and you're getting a really good +3 bonus here. So probably my favorite for this category. And then we've also got the complete breakfast, which I don't use a whole lot because it's a lot more expensive to make. And by that I mean it takes a lot more ingredients. You are getting a decent +2 farming buff and a +50 max energy though. But because it takes a lot more to make it, I wouldn't make this one personally unless I didn't have a parsnip to make the farmer's lunch. And then this next recipe is really simple. Hash browns gives you a +1. It's super cheap to make, so it's great for early game. And then we've also got the pepper poppers and tomka soup, which each of these has their own added bonus of speed or max energy. I personally prefer the speed bonus. Max energy buffs aren't all that useful, but you are still getting a decent farming buff. So it's really just what you have the ingredients for to make. Oh, and I should probably mention, guys, that all of these recipes don't stack with each other. So if you eat one thing and then another one, it will replace the previous buff you had before. The exception to this is like coffee, which gives you a speed bonus. So just keep in mind that while some recipes will give you that speed buff on their own, like for example the pepper poppers right here, it's sometimes better to choose a different recipe and then also down a coffee to get an even better combo. Coffee does wear off a little faster though, so I would recommend having at least a small stack of these. Okay, moving on to the next chest here. So in this chest I grouped together the mining and combat recipes into one category because they go hand in hand with each other in Stardew. First is the miner's treat recipe. It's inexpensive as long as you have a cave carrot, which is a pretty common drop in the mines. And it's got a really good +3 mining buff and an added +32 magnetism to help you pick up items. So altogether, this is a great recipe. And I included this other recipe here just so you guys could see the difference in the buffs. The crispy bass has a +64 magnetism buff, which in my opinion is just kind of overkill when you could use the miner's treat. Especially if you're already using the magnetic ring. I think it's unnecessary. And if you can't make miner's treat or you're looking for more of a defense bonus for combat, pumpkin soup is really good. This is my all-time favorite recipe in the game. And the reason for that is it gives a good defense buff plus an added +2 luck bonus, which is super important all around you're in the mines, especially when you're in Skull Cavern trying to reach those deeper floors. By the way, guys, if this is your first time here, I actually have a guide to Skull Cavern as well. So if you're focusing on getting good buffs for that, you can always go check out that video for some good tips to help you reach floor 100. So if you're interested in that video, I will put the link to that down in the description. But anyways, if you don't have a pumpkin to make this, but you have cranberries, a good alternative to this one is to make stuffing. You'll get the same defense bonus, but the only thing is you'll be missing out on that luck. More times than not, you should have a pumpkin though, because it's like one of the best crops to grow. I usually grow a lot of them, plus extra for cooking. And even better than the stuffing here is actually if you can make the eggplant parm. This will give you a +1 mining and a +3 defense. Another really good recipe for only 2 ingredients. It's probably my second favorite recipe. And then we've also got Roots Platter and Fried Mushroom for attack bonuses. Roots Platter gives you a nice +3, and like most of these, it's really cheap to make. Fried Mushroom is a good alternative if you don't have the winter's root, especially in the fall when you find morel mushrooms a lot. Lastly is the cranberry sauce. It's super cheap, and it still gives you a good mining bonus. And in the green chest here is the Foraging Recipes. So for this one, Autumn's Bounty actually fits into 2 categories. The reason I placed it under Foraging instead of Combat is because, well, once again, we have that pumpkin soup recipe. Now, both of these require a pumpkin to make them. However, most of the time when you're mining, it's going to be better to have that extra luck bonus that comes with the pumpkin soup versus Autumn's Bounty, which is better served collecting forageables and chopping down trees above ground. And while you'll find the forageables in the mines, having better luck is going to increase the chance of finding those. So in my opinion, it's better to have the luck bonus and then collect more of those items and get the XP that way. So something to think about, but again, this is just my opinion on it. Next is the Survival Burger, really great early on, and its main ingredients are a cave carrot and eggplant. There's not a lot of recipes in the game that give a foraging bonus, so it's good that all these aren't too tough to make. And the third one is pancakes. This is the easiest to make out of the 3. All you need is the egg really, and you're getting a +2 bonus for it. So another one that works good for earlier on, because foraging skill isn't just when you pick up the flowers and stuff, guys. It's also when you're chopping down trees, so it helps your axe proficiency. Alright, and in the blue chest is our fishing recipes. So right off the bat here, the best one is going to be the Dish of the Sea, which has a +3 fishing buff, and it's actually the easiest of all these to make. All it takes is a couple of sardines and a hash brown. So already, it's way better than the fish stew, which I included here just so you guys could see the comparison. The fish stew, it takes a whole list of ingredients that you have to get from crab pots. It's a little more expensive, and the rest of these really just depends on what you have. If you've got a lobster, then lobster bisque is really great, or if you don't have that but you have a snail, then you can make escargot. It just depends. And there's also the chowder recipe, which is good if you don't have any of the other ingredients, because all that takes is a clam and a milk, so very easy to make. So yeah guys, that's all the major ones. I did make an extra chest here just to mention a few other recipes that didn't really fit anywhere. First is the maple bar, has a +1 in farming, mining, and fishing, so it looks really good, but the thing to keep in mind with this one is that it's not task specific. So by the time the buff wears off, you could have just maybe ate another recipe for say fishing, and then a different recipe for mining, and gotten better bonuses all around. So I'd say it's more good early on as it's pretty cheap. You just need the maple syrup pretty much and you're good. And then the other recipe worth mentioning here is the Lucky Lunch. As the name implies, you're getting a really nice +3 luck bonus with this one. The only reason I don't use this one very much is the ingredients are a little harder to come by. The main one being the sea cucumber, and then you also have to grow some blue jazz. So while it's a nice bonus, I'd say it's easier to just stick with the pumpkin soup. But yeah guys, that's all for this guide. Do me a favor, if this was helpful to you, leave me a like down below, and for more Stardew Valley tutorials, consider subscribing to my channel. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay crazy.